All right, so now that we got billing out of the way, we can now focus on user accounts. And so what I want you to do is go up to services here, and we're going to click on, or type in IAM for Identity Access Management. Okay. And the idea here is that this is going to allow us to create more users and also secure our root account, which is what we're logged into right now. Your root account is the first user account that you set up. And it is a unique account where it has all access to everything. And for a good practice, you really don't want to be using this account. There are some cases where you have to use this account to set up certain services, but generally you want to never ever use this account, okay? And so the first thing we're going to do is just change our sign-in link here. Okay, so I'm just going to change this to Exam Pro Startup. Okay, and this is unique, so if someone already has taken that, you'll have to use something else. But this is going to make it easier for us to log into these other user accounts. And the first thing we're going to do is set up MFA, which is recommended by AWS. We definitely want to do this. So we'll hit Manage MFA, and then we'll just continue onto the security credentials here, go to multi-factor authentication, and click Activate MFA. Okay, and we're going to be presented with a few options. We can use a virtual MFA, a U2F security key, or other hardware. I just want to talk about the first two really quickly here. So virtual MFA is what a lot of people are used to. The idea is you have a phone and you install an application and you scan a QR code and then your account is linked. Okay, and so then from there, every time you want to log into your account, you're going to have to provide an additional code from your phone. Okay. Now you have U2F security key, and this is actually just like a USB key that you stick in your computer. And the idea is it's supposed to save you time because it's going to enter that code in for you every time you log in. And also, it's like a piece of hardware. So the idea is that you can take that key with you. And so some people would say that because it's a physical device, it's more secure than using that virtual MFA device. But just for simplicity, we're going to use virtual MFA, okay? And just click continue here. And it's going to give you some recommendations of compatible applications to install on your phone. If you scroll down here, you can see them. And these are the ones that are for Android, iPhone. So I use Google Authenticator, but there's definitely a lot of options here. So you just need to choose one that you like the best to connect your two-factor authentication. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead here and show my QR code, and I have my phone out, and I'm just gonna open up the Authenticator app. You can't see me doing this, but I'm doing it. I'm just going to hit plus on my phone, scan a barcode, hold up my phone to my computer, and now it's scanned, okay? So it just saved in my phone, and I'm just trying to figure out which one it is and just rename it here, okay? I think it's this one. So just give me a second. Yep, there it is. Okay. And so the idea here is that now that it's in my Google Authenticator, it's showing me this 6-digit code. Okay. And there's like this little spinny wheel. Every time that wheel spins, it resets the number. So the idea is that I need to enter in two numbers consecutively. So I have the first one, which is 332. 735. Okay, I'm going to wait for that wheel to spin until it shows me the next number, and then I'm going to enter that one in 802416. Okay, I'm going to hit assign MFA, and now my MFA has been enabled. All right, so that's all it took to enable MFA. All right, I'm going to go back and we're going to go back to our IAM account and keep on going through all the recommendations here. Okay, so the next one is to create individual IAM user accounts, all right? And so we'll go to manage users. I'm gonna go and create one for myself. I'm gonna call it Andrew Brown because that's my name. I'm gonna give it programmatic access and management console access. And I'm just gonna provide my own password here, okay? And we're gonna hit next permissions, okay? So I've created myself, all right, we're working through it here, but we got to do a few other things. We got to set up a group. So I'm going to create a group here. I'm going to create an admin group. And I'm going to checkbox administrator access. That basically gives you full permissions. Okay, so for yourself, you definitely want to have admin access, but for other users, you're not going to want to give them this role very often. Okay. And I'm just going to hit next and review and create this user. Okay, and then the idea here is I have an access key and a secret access key, and this is for pragmatic use. I'm not going to look at this right now, but you only get one opportunity to look at this access key, and then you never can see it again. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. So there is that account. And so now that I have it, I'm just going to make sure that I can actually log into this account here. Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to go and just log out. Okay. We're going to go sign into console. Now this is where it gets a bit confusing because you have the root account and then you have user accounts, okay? And so anytime you're signing to the root account on AWS, you're going to get email address of your AWS account. And this is always for the root account. Now if you want to log in as a user, like the one I just made called Andrew Brown, what you're going to do is you're actually going to enter in either the account ID or the account alias. So remember earlier when I had you update the console sign up link and I called mine ExamPro Startup? Okay, that was the reason why we did this, because otherwise we'd have to use the account ID, which is super painful to do. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead here and hit next. Okay, and now you can see that the sign-in form has changed. Okay, we have account ID and alias, and we're not entering email. You never enter an email for user accounts. It's username, and so it was Andrew Brown. And then I had a password, which is a secret. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to sign into that account. Okay, and the first time I log in, it's going to ask me to reset that password. So I'm going to enter in the old password. I'm going to enter in the new password. Okay. And here I am in my user account. Okay. So if I go to IAM now, okay, you can see that there are different recommendations, all right? But you can see that I've activated an MFA on my root account. I've created an individual IAM user. We made a user group. We did that when we were setting up our first user. The only thing we haven't done is set up a password policy, all right? So if we drop this down here and click into that, and then click on set password policy, the idea is you can enforce stronger passwords, okay? So you can say, always ensure there's an uppercase, a lowercase, at least one number, and down the row here. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be logging in and out, and I'm going to be discarding this account in a couple of days. So I want to make my life a little bit easier. But you know, if this is going to be your long-term account, you're going to definitely want to checkbox basically everything on this list, okay? And it's definitely something you want to do, all right? But I'm just going to save myself some trouble, all right? And generally that is that, okay? So we are now set up for this user account. But what I'm going to want you to do is go back and log into your root account, because there's a lot of other things we need to set up, and we generally can only do that through the root account, okay? And then once we have those things set up, we'll then go back and switch to this account, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead here and sign out. And just go back here just to show you, again, if you want to sign into the root account, you have to go back here. So down below it says sign in using root account credentials. I know it's a bit confusing, but you get used to it. And then from there, I can just log in into that account. Okay, I can't remember the password offhand, but that's all you got to do. Okay, so now we're all set up with our user accounts, and we can move on to the next step.